Welcome to Cooking with Chef James. Today I want to take you on a culinary adventure of Italian food. What I'm going to do is we're going to do a roast chicken with lots of fresh herbs and garlic, lots of olive oil, salt and pepper. What I did was I took the chickens and brined them overnight. And what I did with the brine was a cup of kosher salt, a cup of sugar, and 2 cups of water. I brought that to a boil and let it dissolve the sugar and the salt. Once that had took place, I added a lot of ice cubes. I took the chicken and washed it real good, and I add some herbs, which thyme, rosemary, and some onions, and put it in a plastic container and brine it for 24 hours. You can do the same thing with turkey, and it just makes your chicken or turkey very moist. What I have here is 2 chickens. I took the onions and the thyme and the rosemary and garlic and put into the pan. This was what was marinated with. And of course, I love a lot of garlic, so I'm going to add some extra here. I have some homemade chicken stock that I put in the bottom of the pan to help to keep it moist. And this is usually what I do is when I find chicken on sale, chicken quarters, I will buy 10, 20 pounds of it. Roast it off, take the meat, put it in, after I pull it off the bone, put it in a Ziploc bag and freeze it. This way, if I ever want to make chicken and dumplings or chicken salad, I have some cooked up. But then I take the bones and I roast them. And I put them in a pot and make a wonderful chicken stock. And with chicken, there's nothing better than homemade chicken stock. If you're feeling sick, feeling bad, a chicken noodle soup is unbelievable. So back to the chicken. What I'm going to do here is coat it with a lot of extra virgin olive oil. If you don't have extra virgin olive oil, you can use vegetable oil, canola oil, but I live off the extra virgin olive oil. I believe it's a great thing. Now, as far as salt goes, I prefer kosher salt. And what I did before I tied these up, I did a salt and pepper mixture inside the bird, and also put some of the fresh herbs inside, so that it gives it a lot more flavor as it bakes. You can be generous with the salt. No reason to be shy. It gives it more flavor. You don't have to eat the skin if you don't want. But and what we'll do is we'll put this in the oven, 350, for about 1.5 hours, and I'll baste it every 30 minutes or so. While the chicken is roasting, I'm going to go on to herb roasted potatoes. And what I have here is baby Yukon Golds. They're a lot different than the red potatoes. They're more of a heartier potato, and they're absolutely wonderful. Now, here you probably think these have already been washed, but you're probably going to think, why isn't he peeling them? Well, that's where all your nutrients are. And the next thing, don't be alarmed at how much olive oil that I use, because I will almost cover these with olive oil. Lots of fresh garlic. There's nothing like using fresh garlic when you cook. Herbs. I'm going to use lots of fresh thyme, And all you do, just throw it in. You'll say, doesn't it burn? Well, it just gives it a lot of flavor. And rosemary. These are all herbs that I took out of my herb garden this morning. And it's amazing how much flavor cooking with herbs. And if you don't have fresh herbs, you can use dry herbs. Just remember, with dried herbs, that because they're dried, the flavor has intensified. So you want to make sure that you use a little less than what you would fresh herbs. Like I said, be very, very generous with the olive oil. Now the thing is once you have cooked these, you can strain the oil and use it for other things. Don't throw it away. I always keep it. Sometimes I will take 3 or 4 pounds of garlic and I'll take this oil and I'll roast it very slow to have roasted garlic to cook with. It's good for sauteing vegetables, potatoes. There's quite a variety of things you can use it for. Again, be pretty generous with the salt. Again, I use kosher, I prefer it. Or here I have pink Himalayan sea salt that is absolutely wonderful. And later, I can show you other sea salts. I have Hawaiian black sea salt.
Oh, we want to get that. Okay.
And all you do is put these in 350-degree oven for about an hour. And trust me, once you've had them, you will absolutely love them. I'm going to go ahead and start working on croutons. We're going to have a panzanella salad, which is an Italian bread and tomato salad. But I'm going to twist it up a little bit and throw in some fresh mozzarella. So what I have here is ciabatta bread. If you've never had it, I tell you, it's a wonderful, wonderful bread. And all I do is just slice it in half and cube it up. There's nothing better than fresh croutons. And this salad is truly unbelievable. I made this a few days ago. My brother had his 77th birthday, and I had him over for dinner, and I made lasagna, and I made this salad, and I made a pretty large one, and I wasn't sure if they'd like it or not, and that was the one thing they ate, every bit of it. I had no leftovers, so really it's a wonderful, wonderful salad. And I'm going to go ahead and use the whole loaf because I'll save some of these croutons to use later to make a Caesar salad. And there's nothing better than a homemade Caesar salad as well. But stuff like this you can do and use it for 2 or 3 different meals. And it's absolutely wonderful. Okay, once the bread is all cubed up, what I'm going to do is more olive oil. As I told you before, I really love using olive oil. But on this, I do a mixture. I use olive and vegetable oil. Now what I want to do is do a nice salt sprinkle. some freshly ground black pepper. And this here is herbs de Provence. These are herbs that I dried myself in a dehydrator. Every year, before it gets too cold, I'll go out and harvest all my herbs and I'll dry them. I have screens that I'll lay them out on and let them dry. And then I pack them up, and it's wonderful Christmas gifts. I found that people, if you give them something that you made, they appreciate it and enjoy it a lot more. All you want to do is just toss this. Any bread that is not coated good, just go back and add a little more. Never hurts. Okay, what I'm going to do is put this on a sheet pan. No need to spray it because there's plenty of oil on it. Spread them out, good. And throw them in that same oven, 350 degrees, 10 to 15 minutes. You want them a little crunchy, but you don't want them dried out too much. Now, the next part that we're going to do here is we're going to get some grilled and roasted vegetables going. So today what I have is some nice, beautiful peppers, some red onions, some asparagus, a couple of zucchini, a couple of yellow squash. What I'm going to do here, asparagus, when you're cooking it, most people overcook it, so you want to make sure that you don't. That is the last thing that I'm going to cook. In the meantime, I'm going to cut these peppers and zucchini and yellow squash up. They can all be mixed together because they have the same amount of cooking time. So, and I don't waste. I've saved these parts. They can be roasted and absolutely wonderful. And if you notice, all I did was cut the top and bottom off. And then I'm going to cut them into nice strips.
We're here today at Bank of Dudley to discuss business loans. So many businesses and industries trust the Bank of Dudley for a variety of financing alternatives to suit your specific needs, from short-term loans to help with cash flow, loans to purchase equipment or facilities. At Bank of Dudley, we have commercial mortgage loans, capital improvement loans for construction or renovation. We can help with your business vehicle loans or for a small business line of credit. In other words, Bank of Dudley has your business covered. No matter what it is, you can trust the lenders at the Bank of Dudley with 5 convenient locations: East Dublin, downtown Dublin, Veterans Boulevard, Dudley, and Jeffersonville. The Bank of Dudley, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Christy Sims with Barry Walker Insurance Agency right here in Dublin, Georgia, your nationwide agent. And I want to invite you to come by 1009 Bellevue Avenue and let's talk saving you some money. If you're like me and my family, we need to save as much money as we can. And with insurance rates going up everywhere, it's time to take out that policy and let's get it reviewed. So call me now at 272-6010 and put me to work, putting more money in your family's pocket. I'm Christy Sims and I want to work for you. Always remember, Nationwide is on your side.
People have really gotten into too much fast food and not cooking at home. Well, to me, I absolutely love cooking. The fresh aromas, the herbs, the spices, the freshness of your food when you cook every day, it makes a big difference. And we, as individuals, we need to think about what we're giving our kids, Because you would be surprised at how many kids never have a home-cooked meal. Because everybody has a busy schedule. They go to fast food. They think it's the quickest and easiest way. And it is, but think about the processed food that you're getting. Now that I have all the vegetables cut up, I'm going back to my staple of olive oil. You want to do a nice little coat on it. Of course, salt. And a little black pepper. Now this is where the fun begins. I'm going to take a little bit of fresh thyme and strip the leaves. Fresh herbs make a world of difference in the way something tastes. And the thing is, gives it a lot of flavor. You can take vegetables that just have salt and pepper and compare them to vegetables that's been cooked with a lot of fresh herbs, and there's a huge, huge difference. What you want to do with rosemary, it smells kind of like a pine needle. You do not want to use the stem because that is very tough. But as you can see, just pull off the small end of it. And then just give it a chop. And what this does is help release the oils from it. And as you roast the vegetables, it just gives it a lot of flavor. Okay. Then what you want to do is just sprinkle it over it. Next, what I'm going to do is throw on a pair of hand gloves because I love to get my hands down in food. You know, kind of massage it and get it working in there real good. And again, these are extremely easy to do, but very, very flavorful. Just toss them around real good. Get them coated with all these herbs. And all of these here have about the same amount of baking time. And they're so wonderful. I think I need just a little more salt. And as you can see in my kitchen, when I renovated, on all my cabinets, I put no cabinet doors. And one of the reasons is because as a chef, I wanted to be able to just grab things. Actually, for the amount that I've got, I'm going to use 2 pans. I have some friends coming over for dinner, and I know that they're going to enjoy this. There's nothing better than getting together with friends and cooking and sharing time together. Again, I'm going to put these in a 350-degree oven. Next, what I'm going to do is take these beautiful asparagus, drizzle them with just a tad of olive oil, a little salt and pepper. Make sure they're coated real well. And we're going to grill these. The thing is with asparagus, you want to make sure that you don't overcook them. Most people have the tendency of overcooking them, and they should still have a crispness to them. A lot of times people cook them till they're mush and they're way overcooked. No need for that. I'm not going to wash this bowl because I'm going to use it to do my tomato basil salad, but I will wash my hands. And we're going to continue on with the panzanella salad, which is tomatoes, croutons, mozzarella, and I put a lot of fresh basil in it. But we're going to make some vinaigrette, which is a red wine vinaigrette with some oregano, fresh oregano. You can use any type of tomato, but I love these grape tomatoes. They're sweet and absolutely wonderful. And all I'm doing is cutting them in half so it'll release some of the juices from it, absorb into the bread, and it's really, really wonderful. You want to make sure you keep an eye on the asparagus because that's the one thing you don't want to overcook. And I'm going to leave the grill pan on after that because for dessert, we're going to have grilled pound cake with nice grilled peaches. And I made a nice simple syrup with peaches and Malibu rum. A wonderful dessert. And of course, I'm going to whip up a little heavy cream to go with it. I love tomatoes, so I always add a lot of tomatoes into my salad.
Dublin Chevrolet saves you big bucks on big trucks.
Now at Dublin Chevrolet, save up to $12,000 off MSRP on the Silverado.
Call, click, or come see us. Dublin Chevrolet, the only dealer you will ever need.
Join Piggly Wiggly in the celebration of our 100th anniversary, and the celebration is spreading throughout our community with a renewed pride in our hometown grocer, Piggly Wiggly. 100 years of great product and great customer service. Piggly Wiggly is where you'll find everything from the freshest in produce to 100% certified Angus beef, the only certified Angus beef dealer in Lawrence County. Piggly Wiggly, down home, down the street. Thanks for joining us in our 100th anniversary celebration.
It's easy to score a great deal at Dublin Chevrolet.
Now at Dublin Chevrolet, get 20% off MSRP on select Cruze, Malibu, or Impala.
Call, click, or come see us. Dublin Chevrolet, the only dealer you will ever need.
I'm going to give these asparagus a little bit of a quick turn so it gets some charness on the other side. Now most of you should actually use a spatula or set of tongs. From years of cooking, my hands have kind of gotten used to a lot of heat. What I'm going to do now is the vinaigrette for the tomato salad. About 1.5 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. And a little bit of red wine vinegar. Mustard, when you mix mustard with red wine vinegar or any type of vinegar, it causes an emulsification. And that's what gives you a creamy salad dressing. Now, most people don't like just the taste of olive oil because it's a little strong when they make a vinaigrette. So what you want to do is, I use a mixture of vegetable oil or canola oil and extra virgin olive oil. So what I have here is the red wine vinegar, the mustard. I'm using about 1.5 tablespoons of sugar. A generous amount of black pepper and some salt. Now the secret to a good dressing is drizzle slowly so it emulsifies as you're whisking. There's nothing better than a homemade salad dressing. I do a lot of balsamic. I'll reduce balsamic and raspberries together to make a balsamic raspberry vinaigrette, which is absolutely wonderful. I'll also take balsamic and figs and cook it down and make a nice vinaigrette out of that also. Perfect. Now the only thing that is missing is some fresh oregano. You know the Italians, they love fresh oregano in their sauces, tomato sauce and stuff. They use a good amount of fresh oregano in it. You don't need a whole lot, just enough to give it flavor. So what I'm going to do is chop this up real fine. And the secret to when you're cooking is have sharp knives and how you don't have to go out and buy the best kitchen equipment, but my theory in life has always been, if it's something that you really want, spend the money, buy it one time, and it'll last you a lifetime. As you can see in my kitchen here, I have a huge collection of china, crystal, and then of course my milk glass. And from the years of working in New York, I had the privilege of working with Lenox China, Rosenthal, and Waterford and Wedgwood. So I was able to pick up over the years some very nice stuff. And I believe in using it. If I have a Waterford glass, I use it and it accidentally breaks, it's just a glass, you know. But the thing is enjoy what you have. That's the purpose. If you're gonna have it, use it, enjoy it. You can't take it with you when you go. That's my theory in life. Okay, so we got the vinaigrette made. And now what I'm doing, I'm waiting for the croutons. I'm gonna go ahead and chiffonade. I know that's a new word to some of you, but what chiffonade is small ribbons. And what you do is you take and stack the basil leaves, and then you roll them and cut them paper thin. And that is what's called a chiffonade. Fresh basil is absolutely wonderful. And what I do is when I have a lot of it, I will take and puree it with olive oil and lots of garlic. And I'll pack it in little 2-ounce containers and freeze it. This way, if I want to make a pesto, I just grate some Parmesan cheese and toast some pine nuts and puree it, and I got a wonderful basil pesto. Or if you want to take soup and add some wonderful flavor to it, you can do the same thing by adding some of that puree of basil. And you can also do, especially in the summertime when your herbs are, you have a lot, is take some thyme and rosemary and take it and chop it up real fine. The small little ice cube trays, take and puree the thyme and rosemary and with the little garlic and olive oil, and put it in the ice trays and freeze it. It's wonderful to have, to use when you marinate chicken or other meats as well. I do a lot of my steak with garlic and rosemary. I love fresh basil, so I'm going to be very generous with this today. It truly makes a wonderful salad. There's nothing like the freshness of fresh herbs. You know, here in America, we have this tendency of going out and shopping once a week and buy foods to last us for the whole week. Well, the Europeans, especially the Italians, they go to the market every day. And everything is so fresh. And it makes a huge, huge difference. As you can see here, all I'm doing is I rolled it tight. I'm cutting it into thin ribbons. That is going to be a wonderful salad. Okay, next what I'm going to do is add some fresh mozzarella. When I owned Blackbirds, I was able to get my hands on fresh cheese curd. And I would make my own mozzarella. And fresh mozzarella is absolutely divine. All I'm going to do is cut this up into nice chunks and put this in with the salad as well. Nothing wrong with some fresh mozzarella. And it's better, and I should have taken this out earlier because I love it to be at room temperature. When I serve it. One more piece here. I can't wait for my guests to get here. I know they're going to enjoy this. So, when I had Blackbirds, I made fresh mozzarella, and then I would pull it paper thin and make what's called a burrata cheese, which the inside was a mixture of mascarpone cheese, heavy cream, and salt and pepper. It was divine. People still contact me and ask me, do you ever make burrata? I would love to tell them yes, but at the moment, I have to find a place where I can get fresh cheese curds. A nice wash of the hand. And then what I'm going to do is cut up some romaine. But first, let me check these asparagus. Oh, perfect. As you can see, they're still green and crisp looking, but they got the right amount of doneness to them. So let me grab a platter that I can transfer this over on.
There are many ways of doing business today.
Hello?
Call centers, mobile apps.
Right away.
But when it comes to what really matters, our way is pretty simple. To be there when you need us most. That's the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them.
Orr Insurance in Dublin is your local independent auto owners insurance agency.
Hi, I'm Luke.
And I'm Olivia.
And we want to invite you to Bailey Custom Flooring.
Come and check out our great selection of hardwood.
We also have a great selection of carpets to choose from.
And you'll love our great selection of ceramic tile.
For all your floor covering sales and installation needs, count on Bailey Custom Flooring.
And you can call us to make an appointment at 478-290-6084.
Okay, now the asparagus is done. To me, when you're putting food on a platter, you want to present it in a way that it looks beautiful. So what I've done here is I'm putting my asparagus over to the side here. And then I will take, as soon as my vegetables are done, and display them over here, and I will display my chicken over on that side. I'm going to continue on with the tomato mozzarella salad. I'm going to get a head of romaine. Let me just wipe down my cutting board real good. And we're gonna cut that up in a nice bigger than a chiffonade, but you want it where it's easy to eat. Again, some people, they don't use romaine. They don't use any greens at all, but I like that little extra there. I just cut the end off. I'll cut this in half and then just chop it up. Let's chop this up a little more. Maybe a little more. You never go wrong with salad. People love it. And romaine you can find pretty much in any store. One of my things is with iceberg, it's good for bacon, grape tomato, and blue cheese. But that's the only time I would use it. It has no nutritional value, an iceberg. So if you're trying to eat healthy and stay on a health kick, stay away from iceberg lettuce. Okay. I'm going to just toss this up some. This looks so good. I'm a big salad person. I love salad. All that fresh basil in there, the smell of it is unbelievable. The salad is almost ready. Now I'm going to add the vinaigrette. And you can be generous with this. Be sure and coat every leaf because that's where all the goodness comes. Toss it nice and good. A little salt and pepper to give it that extra bit of flavor. And then the key is shavings of Parmesan cheese. You know the Italians, they love their cheese. So what I'm doing here is vegetable peeler and just doing some strips of Parmesan. And you know the rind on the end of the cheese, never ever throw it away. What I do is I save it, and then when I'm cooking a nice pot of soup, I throw those rinds into the soup. Gives it a wonderful flavor. I don't believe in throwing away very much, like all the pepper ends and onion peels and all that. I'll put them in a Ziploc bag and freeze them so that later, when I'm making a vegetable stock or a chicken stock, I take all of that and add it into my stock, and it gives it a wonderful flavor. The only thing that is missing is croutons. So, I don't know, let's be generous. Everybody loves croutons. Let me set this aside. And of course, I'm going to add a little more dressing so that it soaks into those croutons. It makes it nice and moist and gives it a lot of flavor. Doesn't that look wonderful? Let me get a bowl here and I'll plate that up. And then we're going to check on the potatoes and the vegetables. And we will be almost done with this wonderful meal. I'm not sure if my bowl's gonna be big enough. Let me do it the easy way. See all the wonderful, rich colors of the tomatoes and the romaine, the mozzarella, the parmesan, the croutons. It's a simple salad, but the taste is really unbelievable. And of course, as always, you want to make sure that you garnish all of your food, because people eat with their eyes first. You know, I've gone out to, having lived in New York, I have gone to restaurants where, and this is no joke, you could drop for 10 people a couple of $1,000s. And then you're going to say, well, that's kind of extravagant. Well, you know, for birthdays and stuff like that, you know, I've had the opportunity to go out to fine restaurants, and trust me, when people take pride in what they're preparing, it makes a huge difference in the presentation. See, like I'm wiping down the rim of this because I like for it to be clean and neat when I set it out. And all I'm doing here is adding a few more shavings of Parmesan cheese. I'm going to set this up, and then when we come back, we'll check on the potatoes and the vegetables, and then I think our chicken will be almost done.
At Bank of Dudley, we want to help with all your lending needs. Whether you're thinking of buying a new car, remodeling your home, or just want to go on vacation, let one of the many lenders at a Bank of Dudley branch near you help realize your dreams. Bank of Dudley, we're big enough to offer the great services you need, but small enough to make sure you can talk to someone you trust. Bank of Dudley with 5 convenient locations: East Dublin, downtown Dublin, and Veterans Boulevard, Dudley, and Jeffersonville. Bank of Dudley, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender.
Why do we put so much effort into engineering the Can-Am Defender? Why do we equip it with tough Rotex engines featuring impressive torque? Why do we give it massive towing and hauling capabilities? And why do we make it clever with versatile cargo solutions and much more? Well, why do you put so much effort at everything you do? Because a job worth doing is worth doing right. Can-Am Defender, tough, capable, clever.
Visit the new location of Myers Equipment and Supply, 301 North Jefferson Street in Dublin. Call 478-272-7769.
Now we're going to check on the potatoes and the vegetables and see how they're doing. Oh, the aroma is unbelievable. Let's see. Oh, those are perfect. Okay, I'm going to take those out and let them sit for a moment. And then I'm going to check on the vegetables. They may need a few more minutes, so let me just grab a spatula here. They need a few more minutes. Let me give them a little extra more drizzle. That olive oil. Nothing better than roasted vegetables. Okay. So these potatoes, let me turn that up a little bit. These potatoes are done, so what I'm going to do is pull them over. And while we're waiting on the rest of the vegetables to cook, I'm going to plate these potatoes. And then as soon as the vegetables are done, we'll pull out the chicken. These herbs now that are dry, I'm going to just leave them in the oil. This is going to be so yummy. If you've never tried roasted potatoes like this, give it a try. They are truly, truly amazing. And again, all of this, most of this can be done in the oven. As you can see, I've only used the grill top or the stove top just to grill my asparagus. Okay, I've got the potatoes on, the asparagus. Now, what I've done here is I took some of the juice off the chicken and I'm gonna reduce it down. When you're reducing stuff, it's better to, the bigger the surface, the quicker it will reduce. So that's why I put it in a saute pan, so that it will reduce quicker. I'm gonna check these chicken. Oh, beautiful color, beautiful color. I'm gonna put an instant read thermometer in. It's reading 175 degrees. Poultry should read at least 165 or better. It's better to let these rest for a moment before I cut into them. So I'm gonna set them to the side here while the vegetables continue to cook. They're looking real good. While that's working, I'm gonna go ahead and cut and grill the pound cake for our dessert. It will be wonderful. This was supposed to be a sour cream pound cake, but when I started making it, I realized I didn't have sour cream. But I had buttermilk. So I'm gonna give it a try, and it turned out nice, nice crust on top. Let me see here. Very good. What I have here is room temperature butter, because it'll spread easier. And I just do a little generous spread on each side. Now, I know some people, and especially in the South, and there's nothing, well, some people say there's nothing wrong with it. I have a different opinion. They buy margarine because it is cheaper, and with everybody being on a budget, they like to save where they can. But the truth is about butter versus margarine. If you set a tub of butter outside on your porch or somewhere, after a couple of days, it'll begin to mold. And flies and stuff will swarm around it. If you use margarine, you can set it out there right beside it, and it will never mold. It will, flies don't come around it. The truth is margarine was developed to fatten turkeys. And margarine is actually one molecule away from being plastic. So when you think about what you're putting into your body, it really clogs the arteries. It's healthier and better for you to use real butter than it is to use margarine. What I do is when Kroger or Piggly Wiggly or Food Depot has butter on sale, I stock up on it. I have freezers in my shed and another refrigerator, and I'll buy 20, 30 pounds and I'll freeze it. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't hurt it. And it's best when they have nice sales like that, just stock up on it, freeze it, and that's what I do, and I really enjoy it. Now what I'm going to do is get a couple of peaches Actually, about 4 peaches. And we're going to grill them. Now, the natural caramelization of these are amazing. That's a bad one, so I can't use it. Let me grab another one. Hopefully they're not all this way. I had one last night and it was pretty good, so let's hope for the good. Perfect. Now the problem is the seeds pop out really easy. But if you run across some that it doesn't, this would be the method. You got your little scooper, and you just go in like that, and you can take it out. But these are pretty easy, so. But anytime that you can't get it out, if you got a small ice cream scoop or cookie scoop, do it that way. Okay. Of course, I go back to my butter. I love butter. And if you've never made your own, if you can find a farmer a dairy farmer that'll let you get some, they can't sell it to you because it's not pasteurized. But if you get a farmer that'll give you some heavy cream, just take your Cuisinart mixer, or your KitchenAid, I should say, and just whip it. And then what you want to do is add you a little bit of salt to it. There's nothing better than homemade butter. I love to do it all the time. Okay, let's check this. Those are almost ready. We just want to give it a little bit of color on each side. By the time I finish these peaches here, they'll be ready to go. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and take them up. We don't want them to burn. The grilled pound cake is actually really wonderful. Let me set that to the side. Put these last 2 peaches on. Then I think our vegetables will be ready. Pull this to the side. This helps with the caramelization of the peaches. What I'll do is get nice grill marks on them, and then I'm going to throw them on a small sheet pan and roast them for a few minutes. You can press it down to help get the grill marks on it. Then I'm going to take the chicken and I'm going to platter it and the rest of the vegetables. And then it'll be time for dinner. It's great cooking for friends because you're giving from your heart. And to me, I was the youngest of 13 kids, and my mother was a wonderful, wonderful cook. We didn't have a lot, but she always had something on the table for dinner. Sometimes we didn't know what it would be, but no matter what it was always good because she cooked from the heart. And that's what people needs to do. The more love you put into it, the better it is. These are coming along great. Okay, let me turn these off. And I'm going to throw them in to the oven for a few minutes while I platter the rest of the food. Now the chicken. Look how beautiful they are. Nice golden. Can't wait to cut into these. And again, remember what I said about garnishing your food? Well, let's take a little bit of rosemary and thyme. A little bit of oregano as well, since we have it. And let's just put it right there to put some greenery on it. And what I did was I took a cup and a half of heavy cream, a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar, and then I used vanilla bean paste. It's really good. You don't want it real stiff, but you want it where to hold a peak. As you can see, the cream is holding its peak, so that's ready. I'm going to check on the grilled peaches. They should be about done. And then we can, the guests should be here any moment. And then we can eat. Let me get a pair of tongs here. Wonderful grilled peach with this, and you just want to drizzle that, all that sweet goodness over that cake and let it soak in. That's going to be so divine. Nothing nicer than a nice piece of grilled cake. Let's put some of these peaches in there as well. That's been cooking. It looks wonderful. That looks so good. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm going to have to taste it without them. Oh, some of those peaches that have been cooked. A little bit of that cake. Unbelievable. I'd like to thank you all for being a part of Cooking with Chef James today. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. Happy eating to all.